Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading for February. Now, I didn't really have much time to try and do individual readings for the signs this week, so I figured a pick a card reading would be a nice alternative and just something to do a little different, to kind of mix it up a little bit. So we are going to switch camera points here so that you can get a closer look at the cards, and then we will go ahead and get started on picking the cards today. Alrighty, so as you can see, we have this kind of fun top-down viewpoint here, and we're gonna take a look at these piles that we have here. Now, with pick a card readings, you want to take a moment to center yourself and really listen to your intuition about which pile you might want to pick. You might find yourself drawn to maybe one or more piles here. Let's take a second and talk about each of the crystals I have here on the piles. For group number one here, we have this really pretty tiger's eye. And this one's kind of like a little sphere shape here. This one's just a really pretty tiger's eye. Now this one, you guys, I've never really been very good at remembering types of crystals. This one is probably just some type of colored quartz. But I think it's really beautiful, and this was just one that I was really drawn to pick for today. So we have this really pretty orange triangle, possibly quartz piece here. And then group number three, we have this really beautiful moonstone. This is a type of black moonstone, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly when I was given it. And this one's like a really, really lovely polished palm shape, which is really nice to hold. So take a few minutes. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video and take a second to look on the piles, maybe meditate on them, and ask your guides which pile is meant for you to see, or maybe even which piles, more than one, you might be drawn to for your February reading. All right, so if you chose group number one, this is going to be your reading here for the tiger's eye that we have here. I'm going to put that off to the side for now, just for safekeeping. Got a few cards pulled here. We're going to start off with these ones from the Mystic Monday deck. And these cards are going to be what February has in store for you. So the cards that we have here for you are the Seven of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse, the Princess of Cups in reverse, the Emperor, and then finally the Princess of Wands. So looking at the cards, the first five here to start, things are looking a little bit rough emotionally for you. Let's start off with this first card here, the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords talks about handling deception, dealing with lies, or even people coming up against you in ways to try to break you down. And so you may be struggling with, someone keeping secrets from you at this time, or even you may be keeping some of your own secrets. You may be trying to get away with something here that maybe is a little bit on the deceptive side. Now, this card is also about making sure that you are keeping good boundaries. And what I mean by that is, if there are people in your life that are, bringing these swords or bringing these things coming up against you, if your foundations are good, if you have a good handle on yourself and your own things that you're doing, it doesn't matter the lies that people bring up against you. If you know that on your end that you are being truthful and honest, then these lies that this person is bringing up don't matter to you. You know who you are, and you have the confidence that, even if this person is spreading lies against you, that you have been in the right. You know what you are doing, and you don't have to worry about people telling lies, because the truth always finds a way to come out. The second card here is the Knight of Swords in reverse, and this kind of tells me that at this time you may have been feeling a little bit impulsive or even reckless. The Knight of Swords in the upright is a card of a person who has a clear vision towards their future, and they have willpower to exact it. And with this being in reverse, you may be dealing with some impulsive tendencies towards trying to exert your will. And this can also mean that you may be feeling a little bit directionless as a result. Now, with relation to the Seven of Swords card previously, this can also sometimes mean that you have been meddling in things that maybe aren't so good for you. Sometimes you can kind of get caught up in trying to get back at a person. Sometimes we find ourselves in the middle of it and we forget what our morals are, or we forget where it is that we want to be heading. You know, we don't want to be matching energy with a person who is low vibes, because if we're matching their energy, then we're bringing ourselves down to their level. We're not keeping ourselves elevated and above the nonsense, above the BS. So just a little warning, keep that in mind to, try to stay being the bigger person if you can help it. While we're talking about being the bigger person and keeping a handle on things, let's talk about this Princess of Cups card. The Princess of Cups is a person who can be emotionally reactive. This is a person who does not have a good handle on their emotions, and they can tend to lash out. They can lash out at the people that they care about, the people that they love, even if they're not intending to. It can be someone who, you're going through a tough time and you're trying to get support for the things that you're going through, and you may be finding yourself, in this emotionally reactive phase where, things aren't going your way and you're feeling very pent up, and so it's really easy to end up lashing out at the people that you love unintentionally. And so this is also a warning here for you to make sure that you have a good handle on your emotions, to make sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you don't lash out at the people that you love without meaning to. And then we move on to the Emperor card here. And I feel like this card here is a lot of what is going on is you are trying to gain some sort of control. You are trying to take back the reins of what it is that's going on. We had the lies and deception of the Seven of Swords, and then your emotional reactivity, your emotional response to the people who are bringing these lies up against you. And the Emperor is a person who is in control. This is a person, when you think of emperors, they're at the top of the food chain, and it's a hard spot to be in because you have a lot of people relying on you. And it also means that you're standing above, trying to figure out how to maintain control or dominion over the people below you. And that's not necessarily a good mindset. We shouldn't really be thinking of people as beneath us and as people to control, because that's really what the Emperor is about. This is a person who wants to control. This is a person who wants to lord over the people that they have around them. And so with all of this going on, with all of this trying to gain a semblance of emotional control over yourself, and some of you may even be attempting to gain control over this lies and deception, trying to gain control over this situation that has kind of gone kaput on you a little bit. Even though you know who you are and people are bringing up these lies or these things against you, it's really hard to stay out of this mess. It's really hard to keep yourself separate from it when you find yourself in the middle of it. It's very challenging to rise above it when our initial reaction a lot of times is to lash out and to, try to gain control by exerting our will over other people. And so the Emperor, I feel like, is a caution for a lot of you here to make sure that you have a good base. that you take maybe a moment to go back to your roots, go back to who you are emotionally and who you want to be, and think about, is my reactions, is my emotions right now a good representation of who it is that I am or who that I want to be? Am I acting out of a place of desire to hit back when I've been hit? Or am I reacting out of a higher mindset of trying to, stay in my lane and take care of myself and moving on despite what the haters say or what people are bringing up lies against you? So just something to think about. Trying to exert control over a situation can oftentimes be something that brings us less control overall. You can't control everything, and sometimes the answer is not control, but to let go. And finally, for your last card here for February, you have the Princess of Wands. And I feel like all of this BS that you're kind of wading through, all of the lies that people are spreading about you, all of the, emotional negativity or reactivity that you are going through, brings you to this Princess of Wands. And this to me feels like remembering your magic, remembering who you are, and getting back in touch with who you are, with who you want to be. This to me is kind of like that, oh yeah, I need to change what I'm doing. So I feel like February ends on a good note for you. Sometimes we have to go through a little bit of the muck before we can really get the answer that we need. We have to go through the muck and figure it out first before we can gain this knowledge and take it and move on. And I feel like that's what this Princess of Wands here is. It's you gaining that knowledge and coming back to your roots and who you are, and even coming out on the other side of it better than when you went in. All right, you got some more cards here. Let's look at these three guys. These cards here are just kind of extra messages for what you're going through. Maybe sometimes, extra messages about how to handle things, maybe even sometimes unforeseen circumstances to be aware of. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, okay. So I definitely feel like these three cards here are kind of the answer to how to navigate this situation a little bit better. So you have the Hermit in reverse, you have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. And actually the Hermit card is a 9 card, so you actually have 3 nines here, 999. So for some of you, that could even be like, if that is an angel number for you, that's really cool to see here, 999. Let's talk about the Hermit in reverse. The Hermit in reverse is a person who is taking a break from being social or being involved in things that are going on. This is a person who is taking a self-imposed break from something. And so I feel like your answer to this situation is to distance yourself from it, to take a break from the figuring out how to handle and deal with this BS. Because like I was saying before, sometimes the answer to the problem, when you're trying to gain control over a situation, sometimes the answer is that you have no control. To embrace and be content with that fact. We can end up causing ourselves a lot more strife and a lot more pain from trying to grapple and grab any little piece of control that we can find for ourselves, when really sometimes the answer is to let go. And the Hermit is a person who lets go. The Hermit is an individual who, walks away from society and from what everybody else is saying to go and find and seek the answers for themselves. So I feel like that's kind of what you need to do here in February, is you need to take some time out to find the answer for yourself on where it is that you want to go and who you want to be. And ultimately, taking that time out leads you to these 2 cards here, and these are very positive cards here. The Nine of Pentacles is a person who is prosperous, not just with their money. Pentacles are associated with money and earth energy. And with earth energy, there is this sense of grounding. It's having your feet on the ground and being realistic about things. And the Nine of Pentacles is an individual who is very prosperous. They have a good idea of how they should be spending their money, their finances. And with it being, it's not, Pentacles are not always about money. Sometimes this is about how to spend your energy, how to spend your emotional finances. You know, if you're putting all your energy, all of your emotion into negativity, that's what you're going to get as a return. And so making sure that you're putting your emotional bank into positivity, into things that are going to bring you wealth, abundance, prosperity, and peace. Making sure that you are aligned with what it is that you want and that you're spending your time on those things instead of spending it on the negativity, finding yourself caught up in this rat race of, you know, who's better than who. And that leads me here to the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups here, this is a person who is very positive. This is a person who has experienced wealth, has experienced emotional fulfillment. This is a person celebrating at a party, you know, and with that, there's a lot of positivity, a lot of overflowing emotional contentment, happiness, and joy to be felt, and finding your own joy. I mean, we say this is a party from, you know, all these cups on this table back here, but this person is still by themselves. So finding time and joy to be by yourself, finding the emotional fulfillment that you can only give yourself is, I think, really the key here. You can't walk through life expecting other people to take care of you. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And I don't mean that we shouldn't have community. That's not what I'm saying. You know, we still need community. We still need love and connections. But you can't expect other people to take care of it for you. You have to put in the effort to take care of it yourself. And when you do that, a lot of times what you are looking for will meet you halfway. But you have to take that first step. You have to extend your hand first. And, you know, this person is someone who has found their community, has found their emotional fulfillment, and they're still by themselves and they're okay with that. They're content and they're happy with it. And they're, you know, spending their energy on feeling love as opposed to wondering what they're going to do without it. All right, we have one last card here for you before we close our reading out here. And this one is from my Universe Has Your Back deck. And this card is going to be a message from the universe to take with you into February as you go through this moment, this energy here. So let's take a look. So the card that you got here says, I find deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. So yes, even though having people tell lies about you is a really painful and kind of betraying feeling, you can find personal growth and deeper meaning to life, to everything going on, amid the discomforting times. As I was saying, we go through these painful and uncomfortable times, these metamorphoses, so that we can learn a lesson and build towards something better. All of these painful moments, all of these discomfort and things that we are going through are teaching us lessons about something. So think about, what is the lesson that you can learn from this moment? Maybe the lesson is having better friendships with people who don't talk bad about you behind your back. Maybe the lesson here is to find ways to gain some perspective over the situation by removing yourself from the mess so that you can see things clearly, as with that Hermit card. For some of you, it could even mean learning to let go. As we were saying, sometimes holding on to control and trying to keep everything perfect is unattainable for a lot of us. And so moving away from that feeling of control and learning to let go and allow things to happen naturally by having a good idea, a good connection with your true self, your highest self. Having that good connection with yourself and who you are deep inside. Once you know who you are, no one can sway it. No one can rewrite and change who you are. Only you can say who you are. Only you have the power to do that. And so take a look at your February. Take a look at the discomfort and the times, and the discomfort is here to teach you a lesson. And what deeper meaning, what personal growth can you find amid the painful or discomforting times? So anyway, thank you. That is your reading for my Tiger's Eye group here. You can feel free to leave a comment and end the video here, or if you were feeling drawn to another card here within the reading, go ahead and look at the timestamps and we will take a look at our next group here. Alrighty, welcome group number 2. If you chose group number 2, this is your reading here for this beautiful orange quartz that we have here. I'm not sure what this is. It could be something else. If you're good with crystals, feel free to leave me a comment on what you think this is here. I literally got a giant bag of random crystals off of Amazon, and this was just one of the ones in it. So feel free to let me know if you know what this is. If not, it doesn't really matter to me. It's still really pretty, and I still really love it. So anyway, we're going to put that right there for some safekeeping, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at your cards for February. We're going to start with my beautiful Mystic Mondays cards here. I'm going to flip them out, and we're going to see what you have in store for February. So, right off the bat, looking at everything overall here, it looks like there is a big mismatch of energy. Not a mismatch, but it looks like there's kind of a roller coaster of like some up and downs here. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, life is up and down a lot of times. Things don't always go perfect 100% of the time. So learning to ride with the good times and even learning to find comfort among the bad or discomforting times is really an important skill to have. Let's go ahead and talk about each of these 5 cards real quick. The first card you have here is the 5 of Cups in reverse. Now, the 5 of Cups is a card of perspective, of needing to find perspective. When you look at this card from one direction, you have a beautiful sunrise and you have these upright cups here, and this is meant to signify looking at things from an optimistic point of view. Whereas when you flip the card this way, you have only 2 upright cups and 3 cups that are kind of pouring out here. And you have this darker color here. And it's meant to signify looking at things from a pessimistic point of view, looking at the things that you don't have. So in February, you need to be careful about your perspective. And part of perspective is being truthful about a situation that is occurring. Sometimes our optimism can actually be detrimental to us when we're refusing to acknowledge maybe some red flags that's going on in a relationship. And on the same side, pessimism can be detrimental to us as well when we aren't listening to the positive things that are going on for us and we are stuck in a negative mindset and only seeing the bad. We can end up missing out on positive opportunities. So the 5 of Cups in reverse is saying that you need to adjust your perspective in some way. You need to be either more truthful to yourself about what is actually going on, or you need to be taking a look at, maybe changing your perspective and starting to look at some positive things. Then we move on to your next card here, which is the 6 of Wands. And this card is actually a very positive card. This is a card about celebrating victory. So sometime here in February, you're going to be celebrating some sort of victory for yourself. Now, this can come from, that 5 of Cups about shifting our perspective. Maybe you found yourself stuck in a really negative mindset, and now you're shifting your perspective to start celebrating your wins. And that's a very good, very positive change for yourself. So if that is for you, congratulations, you're doing so great so far. Taking care of yourself and making sure that things are, good and celebrating the good times when you have them. Then we move on to the Star card in reverse here. And this is kind of what I mean by that tumultuous energy. Because, we kind of have the changing your perspective here, the pessimism for the first card. Then we have some joy. And then We have the Star card here, which is kind of feeling directionless. In the tarot, the Star is the card that is directly after the Tower, and this card is about finding hope, finding that light in the darkness, and following that guiding light towards something better. It's that hope that, within the dark of the hope within a dark time. And so with this card being in reverse, you may have lost your sense of direction. You may feel as though things aren't going your way, or that you have lost some sort of hope to finding a resolution to something. And so the Star card in reverse is, I really feel for you. This can be a very challenging card to have because hope is what drives us. Hope is what keeps us going and helps us find our light in the darkness. I mean, that's what hope is having a dream or a vision for where it is that you want to go. And so some of you need to find a new hope. Some of you need to find a new guiding light within this darkness. And then here we go again. We're kind of coming back up on that up here. We're talking about the next card here, the Four of Wands. So for some of you, your guiding light within the darkness is related to family or related to your home life. And the Four of Wands can sometimes indicate marriage, but often what I see this card as is I see this card as a portal. It is meant to represent walking through the threshold of one reality into another, walking through a threshold into a new life, a new opportunity. And so I feel like that is what a lot of you have to do here, is you have to walk through the threshold of your new life, your new vision, your new hope for yourself. And the Four of Wands is, as we said, it's often marriage and family. So for some of you, it could be needing to find a opportunity for yourself where you can work from home. Maybe it's recommitting yourself to your family and making attempts to spend more time with your family and really putting a focus on your family at this time. But if you are not interested in starting or having a family, or you find yourself as a solo person, this can also just be finding that new life and opportunity for yourself on the other side of something. As we said, it's crossing the threshold. It's walking between these four wands here and walking through the doorway into a new opportunity. So if you found your new hope, if you found your new purpose, your new idea for where you want to see your vision, this is the card that encourages you to step into that new life for yourself, to step into that new reality or vision that you see for your future. And then you have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So when you're walking into a new life for yourself, you have to have a game plan. You have to have an idea of where you want to go. And you can have the vision, but the vision without the steps is more like just dreaming. And so the Queen of Swords in reverse says that you got to get clear about the steps that you need to take in order to get to this new life, to cross this threshold into this new life that you want for yourself. You can't, unless you win the lottery, which a lot of us will never win the lottery, you won't become a millionaire in a day from a minimum wage job, right? It's just not possible. There's a lot of steps that you have to take in order to get to that point. I'm not saying if you work minimum wage that you will never be a millionaire. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of people will even still be a millionaire because they'll get lucky and win the lottery. But for the vast majority of us, that's not the case. And if we want to have this new life for ourselves or this new reality, we have to take conscious steps. We have to take intentional direction towards the thing that we want for ourselves. And the Queen of Swords here, this is a person who is confused about where they are, not confused about where they're getting to, but confused about how they're going to get there. So I really encourage you for February here to really take some time to get in touch with what steps do you need to take to get to this goal that you want. Maybe even take some time to write it down. Write down your big steps and then write down the even smaller steps towards those big steps. and start figuring out a timeline, figuring out a step-by-step process down to even the smallest piece that you need in order to move towards this future that you want for yourself. All right, now we're going to take a look at these cards here. These are kind of my extra cards. These cards are maybe the extra messages that we need to hear. Sometimes these can be the extra steps or encouragement in order to meet these goals and to work through these things. They are kind of, extra insight. So we're going to take a look at these 3 cards here and see what kind of extra insight we might have for you for February. Oh, and look at that. We have the 4 of Wands here again, right underneath the 4 of Wands. How cool is that? Okay, so let's talk first about this card here. This is the Page of Swords. Now, if you see this card here, you see the Page of Swords has a cloud right in front of their eyes. And they are on the back foot here, which means that they're not quite ready to strike. They're holding their sword, but they're not in a posture of moving forward. They're kind of daydreaming at this point. So, daydreaming is a very important step of the process. Seeing yourself in this future that you want and visualizing what it will look like for you is a very important step of the process. But another step of the process that's really important is getting out of this daydreaming phase, moving from the imagination and starting to think about, how am I going to make this a reality? How am I going to actually implement these and put these plans into action so that I can have this thing that I really want? And that's what the Page of Swords is about. This is a person who is daydreaming, and they're on the back foot here with their sword. They need to move forward onto this front foot here and prepare to strike. And this is kind of that breath moment before you do that. So, understand that it's okay to take a breath. It's okay to take a pause and to dream about what you want. But if this is what you really want, you need to get out of that daydreaming phase eventually and move towards the planning, move towards the actual movement. And even more so with the movement, you have the Chariot card in reverse here. So this card, I feel like, is cautioning some of you, don't just start moving for movement's sake. You need to be intentional. You need to think through how you're going to get where you want to go. Don't just start making moves towards your future without really thinking through the process, because you might end up making more trouble for yourself along the way by making an impulsive decision without really thinking about it. Now, on the flip side of this card, this is also about making sure that you are making some momentum. Sometimes this card can indicate hesitancy for movement, stalling before you even start. And so that can kind of be what you are doing here. You have this vision, this future for this threshold you want to cross for your life. And maybe by this point you have figured out a few steps, but you haven't actually gotten started yet. And so the Chariot in reverse can kind of tell you that it's time to start. It's time to start moving forward. Maybe don't rush into things without thinking, but also don't just sit here and think about all the ways that you could, don't sit here and overthink about it. Start making small little steps. Don't overthink it, and just keep your consistent momentum. And finally, here we have the 4 of Wands again. And we kind of already talked about this card. So having this card twice in your reading is kind of further confirmation that you are crossing over some sort of threshold. And this card to me specifically says that it's time to move forward. You see, you have this, it's supposed to represent a married couple on the card here. I'll bring it close so you can see it. But you can see that there's 2 people standing on the other side, on the other threshold of this, this arbor here, this kind of, it's meant to represent a doorway, moving forward into a new life as a marriage. And as we said, some of you, this could be a marriage, but I feel like for most of you, this is just, being beckoned through the doorway into your new reality, being beckoned through the threshold into your new life. And you know, you just have to take that step. You have to put your foot through that door and start moving into this new life. You know, you've done the imagining, the daydreaming, you've done and you've found where it is that you want to be going. And so now it's time to move into that new energy and to, you know, not be afraid of it. You've been brought to this point for a reason, and you've been guided in this direction for a reason. And standing on the other side of the doorway isn't going to get you any closer. It's time to step through this doorway and to start taking action to get to this new life, to move through into the other side of this for yourself. All right, we have your last card here, group 2, and this card is from my Universe Has Your Back deck here. And this is just kind of a positive message from the universe to take with you into February so that you can have, you know, a little bit of comfort, I guess, moving into February. So let's take a look at what your card says. So your card here says, when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. So take a second and think about, you know, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to surrender and then to surrender more? When I think about this, to me, it sounds like someone still trying to gain control, someone trying to hold on very tightly. And even when you think that you have let go, sometimes we often find that there's still more. There's still more work to be done. There's still more to prepare ourselves for. Part of the process of moving forward is understanding the points where you don't have total control over what happens. And so allowing that to happen, accepting that we won't have 100% control over every single aspect of this journey that we're trying to embark on, understanding that and learning to surrender to the things that are happening, surrendering our control, surrendering our, you know, perfect idea of where it is that we want to be going, and accepting what that will actually look like within our life. Just think about, you know, what this card means to you. What are maybe some things that you could surrender? And then think again, what are maybe some more things about this that I can surrender? What else can I let go of on top of this? Because when we move into a new life and a new reality for ourselves, we have to leave some things behind. We have to leave old patterns of thinking, old ways that we have handled situations before. And we have to move into a new energy. And when you move into a new energy, you have to let go of the old. So maybe think about some old energy or old things, thinking patterns that you can let go of to prepare you to move forward into this new reality you want for yourself. So anyway, thank you for being here. Feel free to leave a comment if this video helped you with your February at all. And, you know, you can stick around and watch any of the other readings if you would like. But if not, thank you, Group 2. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Group 3. All right, if you chose Group 3, hello, welcome to the channel. We are here with that lovely moonstone here. And we are preparing for reading number 3 for Group 3. Gonna put my cards out here for a minute and then we are going to get started. We're gonna pull our cards here that we have for your February. Let's take a look at what you got, Group 3. So far you have the Hermit, the Six of Cups, the Three of Cups in reverse, the Four of Swords, and the Two of Cups. Okay, so Group 3, there's a lot of cups here. So for Group 3 here, a very big theme is about your relationships, about your connections with people. And that's pretty interesting to me because your very first card here is the Hermit, which is a card about needing to take some time out to be by yourself. So a lot of you may be taking a break from socializing or from dating at this time even to really get in touch with yourself. And you are definitely thinking or rethinking through your current relationships that you have with people and even with yourself. So let's talk a little bit more first about the Hermit card here. As we said, the Hermit is about taking some time out to connect with your intuition. It's about looking deep within yourself to find the answers. And one of the best ways to do that is to take out your distractions, to get rid of the things other than just yourself, to go really deep within yourself and remove distractions so that you can hear and discern easier between what is actually yours and what is not. And so a lot of you for February here, you may be taking a break, as I said, from socializing. You may be taking a break from going out and kind of going a little bit more introverted in order to find this answer that you are searching for within yourself. Then we move on to the Six of Cups here. And the Six of Cups it sometimes can mean people or things coming in from the past. It can sometimes mean that you are thinking about your childhood, maybe a past, since this is a Cups card, this could be a past love or relationship. And now that I'm thinking about it, February does have Valentine's Day. I don't know why I haven't thought about that at all for any of the other cards here, any of the other readings. So some of you with this Six of Cups, this could very well be a past love, a past relationship that you are either thinking about, or maybe this person is even trying to get in contact with you. This person can be trying to, talk to you again, or maybe even getting involved with Valentine's Day, trying to get back to you in some way. So it's going to have to be your job here to discern whether this person is coming back with good or negative intentions. For the others where this is not relationship, dating related, this could very well just be you looking back on your past and thinking about your childhood, thinking about things sometimes through rose-colored glasses, idealizing the things that happened. Now, for those of you where this is involving relationships, let's talk about this Three of Cups in reverse here. If that Six of Cups card is someone who is coming back from your past that you were in a relationship with, I am going to tell you right now, I feel like this did not end on a good note. The Three of Cups in reverse can sometimes indicate maybe cheating. It can sometimes indicate having a third party involved in your relationship. So it's very possible if this person that is coming back from the past for you, it's very possible that this person was involved with another individual. If this isn't relationship related, if this is not a reading for you about your ex that cheated on you coming back, basically, this can also indicate discontent within friendships or discontent, sometimes arguments, not seeing eye to eye, or just something getting in between the happiness of two people or some individuals here. So if this is not relationship related, I feel like, if you are not looking for a partner, then this could very well be having trouble with maybe dealing with your feelings about not having a partner, or even, struggling to come to terms with having baggage involved with a relationship. Kind of confusing energy. But let's talk about this card. Your very next card here is the Four of Swords. And this gives me very similar energy to the Hermit card. This is about taking a break. This is about taking a rest. So for those of you where this is relationship related, where you have this person coming back from the past, maybe with all sorts of grand promises and ideas about how much they've changed and how much they've missed you and they want you again. The Four of Swords here is saying, take a break, dude. Take a rest. Get yourself away from this love bombing. Get yourself away from this, take a break from it, because sometimes when we get caught back up in the honeymoon phase of something, we can get, blinded to what is actually going on. So make sure that you take a break from either this person or from this, love situation that's going on. Take a break, take a step back, and really focus on yourself. Put into yourself. And that's really what this card is about. It's about taking a break and rest to recover and, you know, putting yourself first, taking care of what you need. So take the time to rest, take the time to recover, and put into your needs first. And then lastly, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. And I feel like for those of you where this is relationship related, I feel like this is the conclusion. I feel like if this person is trying to get back with you or trying to, you know, rekindle for the sake of Valentine's, or, you know, a lot of people, what happens with Valentine's is that they end up really lonely. You know, if you're single and you see a lot of these happy couples out there celebrating, you can sometimes be tempted to enter back into a relationship or a commitment that maybe was toxic or not what you needed, or was something that didn't help you, something that wasn't good for you. And then once these things pass, once we get on the other side, you kind of clear your mind a little bit and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I totally got caught up with this no good person again. And, you know, the Two of Cups in reverse is you kind of solidifying that idea of not being in this relationship, taking a step back and understanding that, you know, maybe this breakup or this separation that happened with this no good person was actually a good thing. And so if this person is trying to get you to get back with them, if this person is trying to put in grand promises, again, trying to say that they've changed, I feel like you are better on the other side of it without being involved with this person again. And I feel like ultimately you decide to keep this relationship where it has been, which is out in the trash. You know, don't get yourself involved with this person. Don't get yourself in the middle of it, because it's not going to lead to this happy partnership that you really want. Now, since there is some of you that, as I said, you know, not all of the time will this be relationship related. Not all of the time will this be about somebody dating. I feel like this is also, for some of you, struggling to see yourself on the other side. You know, you took the time out to rest. You're struggling with these thoughts and relationship maybe woes from the past. And you can be kind of left in this feeling of like relationships not being for you, or things not being, trying to convince yourself that you're going to be happier by yourself. And for some of you, maybe that is the case, you know? Some of you, it might be better for you to be by yourself for a little bit and to accept that, you know, not everybody will have this happy ending or this happy relationship. And for quite a few of you, there is more work for yourself that needs to be done. You need to be your own best partner first. Because how are you going to attract the love? How are you going to attract the partner that you want for yourself when you can't even be a good partner to that person? For some of you, there are maybe unhealed parts that you still have to work through, and that now is just not the time to be in a relationship. Because if you were with that person, if you were given that perfect person that you want right now, would they even want to be with you? Would they want to be with a person who is still struggling with, you know, their own mess, who hasn't figured out their stuff? And, you know, you can still be with a person without being fully healed. I'm not saying that you'll never find love until you're perfect. That's not what I'm saying, because we're all imperfect beings. But, you know, some of you got to think about the relationships you've been in the past and the way that you've handled things. And you have a little bit more work to do for yourself before you can start to attract a partner or relationship that you want. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We have these 3 cards here, and these are my 3 cards of just kind of extra messages. These can be clues or things to help you through navigating this energy here for your February reading. These can be extra cards to kind of give you a little bit more guidance or advice on what to do moving forward. So let's take a look at these 3 cards here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. So first off, you have 3 major arcana cards, and every single one of them is in reverse. And the very first card that you got is the Lover's card in reverse. So I definitely feel like a lot of you, this reading is about love, or about trying to find love. I feel like this card is further confirmation that you are not going to find the partner that you want in this person. You are not going to find your perfect love story that you've been hoping for. You know, if this person, with this 3 of Cups card in reverse, if this person has cheated on you in the past, what makes you think they're going to change and not do it in the future? You know, why would you go back to somebody who has hurt you or wronged you in the past? Even if they say that they've changed, you know, sometimes it's more convenient for them to go back to someone they know will forgive them. You have to think about you first. And you have to think about, you know, as we said, being your own best partner first. And understanding that you are so much more important. You are worth so much more than someone who does not value you. The Lover's card here, these 2 people are divinely guided by fate, by the universe. These are 2 people that are brought together with love, and they are equals. They are 2 people who see eye to eye. Maybe not always eye to eye, you know, we're all different people, different beings, but they see each other. They see the value. They see who that person is, and they are willing to be the partner that the other person needs. So I feel like that's what this card is that you need to find somebody who sees you for who you are, truly sees you. And on the flip side of that, this person, you have to see them for who they are, even within their imperfections. And you have to be realistic about this. You can't be, you know, 6 of Cups idealizing your past when it comes to something that's already happened. You can't be idealizing it, because then you're not being truthful about who this person was. And so for a lot of you, this is about finding a partner. You really want somebody who is going to be your soulmate and be the person that you want. Firstly, in order to do that, you can't go back to someone who treated you wrong in the past. For a lot of you, I feel like this Lover's card is just saying you will not find what you are looking for in this specific person. You know, seeing eye to eye, seeing mirrored on this, you have to be able to recognize yourself, and you have to know yourself well enough in who you truly are in order to accept, you know, that saying from Perks of Being a Wallflower or whatever, we accept the love we think we deserve. So you have to improve your own self-image. You have to improve your own relationship with yourself in order to see this partner, in order to recognize if you have self-worth, you're never going to settle for someone who treats you like crap. You're never going to settle for somebody who treats you less than what you deserve. So, you know, see yourself first. See yourself, improve your self-image, and really think about who you want to be, because taking care of yourself first is what is going to attract this partner that you really want. Your next card here that we have is the Hanged Man in reverse. And it's funny because in reverse, you know, this is the upright, and in reverse, this is a person that is, you know, upright. And this card is about delaying a decision, delaying movement. The Hanged Man is a card that is between life and death. This is a breath between 2 different worlds, 2 different realities. The world of the living and the world of the dead. And so I feel like this is your, you know, the pendulum can swing either direction. You can be part of the world of life. You can be part of the truth, the light. Or you can be involved in the world of the dead, the world of the negativity, the world of the darkness, you know. And I'm not saying that that's what death is. I'm saying that, you know, that's kind of where the pendulum can swing either direction. But you get to choose where it goes. You get to choose where you go next. Do you move into a new opportunity for yourself that involves your best self-interest within this equation? Or do you make the decision to get back into this mess with this person Do you make the decision to go back to someone who mistreated you in the past? I can't make you make a choice, and only you will know the details of your specific situation. But either way, this Hanged Man, this is that liminal space between those two choices. So think carefully about where you want to go. Think very, very carefully about where you want to go and what you want for yourself. Don't accept less than what you deserve. Don't accept people treating you poorly because you think that that is all that you are going to get. Okay? So, just telling you all right now, I love you. Don't accept less than what you deserve. And then finally we move on to the High Priestess in reverse here. And this card, you guys, please, 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 please be realistic about what you want. Be real, because the High Priestess in reverse says that some of you are going to ignore everything that I'm saying. Some of you are going to ignore your intuition or the intuition of the other people around you, like myself or your friends or family who care about you, who are trying to tell you not to get back with this person. Some of you are going to choose to ignore it, and that is your choice. That is your path here, moving on. But you, please, I'm begging you, do not ignore your intuition. Really get in touch with what you should really be doing about this person, what you should really be doing in your shoes at this time. Because the High Priestess signals that there is a disconnect somewhere between you and your intuition. Your intuition could be telling you that this person is trouble and that you are convinced that, maybe this person has changed and that things are way better, but your intuition is telling you that maybe something isn't right and you're choosing not to listen. And for a few others of you, there's always a flip side to something. There's always a different side to this equation. And for some of you, this could be you knowing the choice that you need to make, but kind of like sticking your fingers in your ears and going, la la la, I can't hear you. Like, that's really what I'm getting, is that like someone is trying to get this message to you that this is not a good idea. Don't do it. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've never been so frustrated doing a reading as I feel right now. So whatevs, do with this message what you will, but really think carefully. Take some time to try to get connected with your intuition, because your intuition is what's going to guide you. And even if you're struggling, there are ways that you can slowly start to try to get back. Maybe don't make a decision before you revisit multiple times. Don't make impulsive decisions. Take some time out to be by yourself. The Hermit card, be by yourself. Be okay with being by yourself, because just because you want love and happiness doesn't mean you need to accept it from the first opportunity that comes back, because that may not be the best option for you. That may not be the best person for you. And you could be causing yourself a lot more hurt or pain by trying to grab onto what you feel may be like the last tendril of hope. And there's plenty of fish in the sea, as they always say. Anyway, let's move on. We have this card here. This is your last card for the reading, and this is from The Universe Has Your Back deck here. And this card is going to be a positive message to take with you into February, to kind of help leave you with some positivity or maybe some optimism for dealing with the challenges that may arise for you. So let's take a look at what this card says. So this card here says, when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. So this card with this eye here, I feel this is very much connected with your intuition. So when you lean on certainty, when you lean on faith, what does that mean to you? Think about it for a second. When you lean on certainty, it means that you are aligned with truth. You are aligned with the facts about what has happened. You are aligned with the facts about the way things work. And leaning on faith, trusting that no matter what happens, there are people out there that will love you for who you are. Not everybody's life purpose within this world is to be in a marriage partnership. That's not everybody's life purpose. Some people's life purpose is to be that single auntie that helps raise their nephews. That it could be the single person who grows up and is just a really good friend for a lot of people. For some of you, that is going to be your purpose, and you may never potentially find a perfect partnership for you. And that is okay. And learning to be okay with that, or even leaning on faith that no matter what happens, no matter where you find yourself, whether that is or is not with a person, leaning on the faith that you are moving towards a life that is best for you, regardless of the other people involved in it, is a very important part of accepting this love, accepting this faith. And love comes in many forms. Love does not have to be a relationship. Love does not have to be a spouse. Love can come in many different ways. Like I was saying with, your nieces or nephews, or your cousins, or even your neighbors, your friends, your family. So there's lots of different ways to embrace love within the world without it having to be attached to a partnership. And when you're leaning on certainty and faith, when you're leaning on truth and trust, you change your mind about the world you see. So if you have been trying to, tell yourself this story about this person, if you have been trying to convince yourself to get back with this person because you think this is your only shot at love, when you lean on faith that the world has lots of love available to you, this decision to get back with this person who maybe wronged you in some way starts looking a lot less tempting, because you start to see and lean on the faith that love will be around you regardless, that you will always have a stream of love supporting you, and that it does not have to come from this person. Having faith that love will find its way to you eventually in whatever form it takes, without you having to take back this person who has caused you hurt or pain. It changes your mind about the world you see. So anyway, thank you for being here for the reading today. I know I sometimes sound a little harsh, but I really do come from I don't want to say tough love. I'm trying to say it in the nicest way possible. But sometimes we have to be told these things so that we can, make a better choice for ourselves. We have to have someone be truthful with us. Because if I looked at these cards and told you, oh, the lovers, you're going to have a perfect relationship, you have all these cups here, if someone doesn't tell you these things, sometimes, you want the friend that tells you the truth and not the friend that tells you what you want to be hearing. And so that is what I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to be the friend that tells you the truth, that tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So anyway, as I said, thank you for being here for the reading. I really hope that this helped you make a decision, or maybe helped you see things a little bit more clearly about this person or this relationship that's been going on. And I really hope that this takes you further into your February and really just helps to bring you some guidance and some peace. And that is our last reading for the groups here. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much for being here on the channel today. Thank you for tuning in. All of your views help support this channel and really help keep things moving. And I really appreciate all of you being here. So anyway, thank you for being here. And I really, really look forward to seeing you all again next week.